Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. And I've done something here.
You certainly
Did you
have.
do you see this?
Do
I,
you
I
tell?
windrowed all the grass I possibly could just into a line and then a line and then a line and pushed it all over here. And I couldn't finish the entire field because it pretty much stopped my tractor with the windrower from moving anywhere anymore.
Why you do this?
Wee wee.
If you could see
It's
that
like
I'm crouched, like you wouldn't even be able to see me, but it doesn't show the crouching. I'm like in the
so
grass now.
I really wanted to see how well this I've lined up the baler over here.
I feel like it's gonna be terrible because
It probably will be. Lower. Uh, Make sure we're not unloaded. Oh, there was one in there. Turn on the baler. Here we go.
I saw a
Want
GIF
to see
the
how?
other day of one of those bales of hay
I
going down a
can't even
hill.
drive over this thing right. The tractor is just like all wobbly.
You're leaving half of it on the ground, even.
Is it really? Oh, it doesn't look like it to me.
Oh no, I guess yeah. At the start it did, but like it looks good now.
Oh, it's definitely not even picking up the full swath.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be like absolutely terrible. What have I done?
You're not gonna be able to move, like...
I'm not gonna be able to move. Too bad we can't hire a worker for this.
Yeah.
Can we not find a pack that lets you do that?
I wonder if they're... I don't know how I feel about this game.
So yeah, it's. I think I started out with such high hopes of it because it seemed so like realistic and just stupid and mundane because it's farming, and I kind of like simulator games that are more your unconventional simulator games. But it doesn't seem nearly as realistic as I once thought it would be.
Right, it lacks all the depth that I assumed that it had. I mean, I guess I decided that since it was this game that's been around as long as it's had, that it really had hashed out the farming. Like I thought it had, if it can be done, if it's something that is done on a farm in real life, then this game has it. Is what I assumed. And I'll say that it doesn't. It's lacking a lot of things that happen on a real farm. Like,
You can have sheep.
right. Like, one of the things that bothers the shit out of me is the soil composition, or there is no caring about soil composition. I mean, that's a big part of farming is going into like the pH and crop rotation and all of that stuff, and none of that is even considered in this
So, it's really ironic, and it has nothing to do with really. Maybe this put it on the mind, but playing this game. But we've been talking about getting stuff ready here at the house for like a garden, and how do we do more efficient garden space and things like that in a small home in DC. And I started watching. There's some amazing YouTube videos out there about people in the whole kind of like micro garden industry.
game.
And there's one video I came across the other day that was so entertaining to me, but it's this guy who's got like 1.5 acre plot is all he's got, and he makes like millions of dollars in his farm because he's like perfected the way to do a lot of like the planting of the tomatoes and the varieties and the cucumbers and how he hangs them and how he waters them and all this stuff. And he was talking about rotations of some things, and he's doesn't rotate at all, and he's calculated out that the way he's got his greenhouses and stuff set up to start like certain potato crops and everything, or tomato crops and all this stuff, that the benefit of the crop rotation itself does not equate to the loss that he would get by constantly rotating and having to upgrade infrastructure in all these different areas to be perfect for what he's like made them become perfect for over the years of farming.
Okay. And, so when it comes to crop rotation, if you're adding the nutrients back on manually, then it's not necessary anyways. Like the problem is whatever you're planting leaches the soil of certain nutrients, and certain crops, replenish those or use them differently. But if you don't, if whatever you're planting isn't a problem, or if you're putting those nutrients back manually, then I guess it's not a problem.
Right. But if you're doing nothing, then you could be leaching it of those
Right.
necessary nutrients. I mean, I get that. I've never been a big farmer, so I really don't know too much about the ideal ways of doing it. But it always makes me wonder, like, looking at stupid things like Minecraft. Minecraft does that weird thing with if you plant, like, 4 rows of wheat together, they will grow at half the speed if you planted a row of wheat and a row of potatoes and a row of wheat then a row of potatoes.
You're the only person that's ever said this to me, and I still don't know if I can believe you.
It's been proven in like the Minecraft myth busting with Zuma. That's how I learned it from.
What if he's
I take it
liar?
at face value. I've never tested it or anything, but it seems to work. But let's say for a minute, like whether it does work or not, because that's not a farming simulation game per se. But would you farm? Would it be just as good from what you know about crop rotation? Would you have to do like a whole field of wheat and then a couple years later you transplant it over to another field, or could you do like a row of wheat and a row of something else and then just swap the rows every time you plant?
Well, you can't do a complete swap because then you're still gonna end up with a problem. But kinda like there's you could do like three or four rows of different crop types, and then you could do that for sure. The problem is how things are planted too, though. We see that in this game, like where some things that grow better in rows versus just a flat field or whatever.
Versus going diagonally across the field for no reason.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, maybe those workers just know best. They were trying to help us.
Right.
They were the experienced ones that you get, and they're like, "Oh no! He's gonna leach in all the nutrients out of the soil by doing it like this. I'm gonna help him out." Go crossways.
So yeah, I don't know. This game, I don't know for sure what it's like farming, but I can tell you that around me, there's not just fields of grass planted.
That is true. I also don't see. I mean, we do it. Well, so okay. In Flint's, there was a big sod farm.
Okay.
So I have seen fields of grass, but those are also harvested not with a mower.
Right.
They're harvested with something that actually scoops up the layer of dirt underneath so you can go transplant it. And then you'd have to obviously replant the grass because it's not grass anymore. So it's a little bit different, but it is a field of grass that's planted.
That's true. That's
I'm assuming.
That's a weird thing.
Sod farming?
Yeah. You ever seen those those pictures of places that had recently put down sod and like a big storm comes in and just blows their whole yard away?
Yes. Well, and sod is really bad too if you don't plant it just right. You get like these nasty looking seams.
Really?
If you haven't, because sod just comes in it's like 1 foot by 3 foot like rolls.
Right.
I've done sod before. Gotten a truckload of sod and gone and put it in a big patched area, and we didn't do a good job on part of it, and it was just like you could tell it was sod for like years to come.
So
if you do it right, you don't we didn't do it right.
I watched some guys put some down a couple weeks ago. Actually, there was like a subdivision getting put in, and they were doing it kind of reminded me of like the start of Back to the Future, whenever he goes back in time and that little subdivision is getting built.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like over there right now, because there's no houses or anything, but they're like making
but
all the
roads
lands. Yeah, there's roads, there's light poles, and like they're doing like all the landscaping for like the entryway into the subdivision. And so that's what I was watching them do the sodding for it, and it's like it's not just strips. This sod, it's like made to where it's like curved so that they can have like little bushes and stuff in between.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, it kind of it's kind of like a wave basically, where it goes up and then down, or whatever, and then in between there's like bushes in the lower part of each wave. So yeah, I was watching how that was cut, and then when they put it together, you couldn't tell that it was like 6 pieces that made up the wave.
See, and that's one thing they don't even have here. Like these bales of grass that we're getting, they're not sod bales. They're just bales of grass that we then wrap up to make silage. Whether that's realistic or not, who freaking knows? But you know, and with this game, money management is such an issue. It's turned into baling simulator because that's the only real lucrative thing that we have.
Right. I mean, and that's I guess that's what's so weird to me is that you it feels like to keep the game interesting for someone watching, you should plant different crops just so you can see different machines in use and those sort of things. But
even for playing, like, cause
well,
I'm honestly getting sick of just doing baling all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, I think if I was playing it single player, well, I think I was playing it single player, I probably would have stopped by now, to be honest. Just because it doesn't. I think it lacks depth.
No, I would definitely completely agree with that. I guess single player, the one thing it's got going for it is the missions. So you can just go do a mission and utilize equipment that you don't get to use all the time, that you don't have.
Yeah, I forgot about the missions, actually. So maybe that's the saving grace, is in single player you got missions that keep you entertained.
Yeah, whereas in multiplayer you're supposed to have friends, but Guude and I don't have any friends. So we've just been playing all by ourselves, hoping someone would join.
Oh, man.
No one has. All these random people keep joining the server called like Helper B, Helper G.
They probably
don't
saw
like
the
to hang
password
out.
in some video.
Yeah, I'm sure that our password's been out there. So I guarantee that the password's been out there. We should change it after we record this video because it's been out there since we've had the password that we have.
I don't know if that's true, but it might be.
We've had this same password for quite a while. I don't know. I would think.
I don't know, man. It's pretty hard, this password.
It is pretty hard. I'd say very hard, in fact. I've done one strip that only got like, I don't even know if I got half of this thing. Look how amazing those bales look, though.
Jeez. There's very little space in between them.
I'm gonna try to run another one right next to it and see if it can look that pretty. Are you
I went and
working
sold wool, cleaned up the guys up there.
Is that conveyor working?
So I played with that a bit too. I like moved one of the conveyors. In fact, let me see how clean it is now that I did that. I moved one of the conveyors where it conveys into the other conveyor. Oh yeah, look at that cleanliness, 89%, and that's just with 2 conveyors sitting up there. So I think it'll stay at that rate.
89's better than 0.
The question I have now is how do I fill up their food? I'm gonna have to go up there and play with that because the conveyors are basically in the way. I might be able to just dump into the conveyors though. I think I can. So if I can dump into the conveyors, then that's how you feed them now. It's just conveyor.
You are for now and ever conveyor sheep.
Sheep are probably the best of the animals, I would say, because their maintenance is not very high.
How many do we have?
We're up to 33 now.
I mean, I wonder what happens if you get up by like 1,000. Do we just have?
I don't know that it goes that high. I kind of am curious because, you know, at this point, we get an animal every 29 hours, and that's with 33 of them. Like, what is the cap before they turn into basically rabbits? Where it's just like, next sheep in 3 seconds.
sheep.
Right.
That's like an exponential growth at that point.
Like, it's got to have a cap or something, right? Like, I'm wondering if, once it gets to 24 hours, if that is it, no matter what, that's the fastest you can get sheep, or if it goes lower than that.
I mean, it might. We could always spend. How much does a sheep cost?
They're only like 4,000. We could buy a couple.
We could spend all of our money from here on out just purchasing sheep. Take out a loan and get as many sheep as we possibly can get.
Well, we can't take out any more loans.
Yeah, we still got a loan going, huh?
I think I paid some of it, though.
So, I'll tell you something on a different subject that is extremely crazy to me. You know, I'm in school again. I've talked about assignments and things like that.
You say
before.
again, but have you ever left school? Have you ever not been in school?
I've been out for a total. I think total like in one span was probably 2 years. that I've not been in school for since I've been, I guess, since I've been 4 years old. But in my adult life, since I graduated high school.
God, I can't imagine, because I still have. In fact, just like last week, I had a nightmare where I couldn't remember my locker code, and then you wake up and you're like, oh right, fuck, I am so happy that I don't go to school anymore. But you've never got to feel that way.
I mean,
for 2 years.
Well, I got to feel that way about not being upset that I didn't have my locker code for a while. I never even used my locker in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I guess my junior and senior year, I just kept all my books in my backpack, and I never even opened my locker the entire year. I had no desire or need to.
I remember my last year, I kind of did something like that, and then at the end of the year, like I'd put stuff in at the start of the year, and I did not. And I couldn't remember where my locker was, and maybe that's why I still have these dreams, because I remember having to go to the office and getting my locker combination and number at the end of the school year, because I had forgotten.
You're like, can I have the combination of my locker, please? They're like, yes, here it is. And you're like, now can I also have my locker number?
Exactly.
I don't know which one this combination is to.
So anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say that, so I'm in basically my second to last semester of classes for a doctoral program. Then after that, I got to do the research project or D&P project, whatever they call it. But remember the class I was telling you about multiple episodes ago, where it was just so confusing. There was no idea and understanding of what this assignment was meant to be, and her email about it was 10 times more ridiculous and confusing.
I do.
So I've dealt with all of that stuff throughout this semester, and last week I'm finishing up some other assignments for another class, and I'm like, man, I'm really behind. I have an assignment I have to do that's due let's say tomorrow. For this one class, and I haven't even looked at it to know what it even is yet. I know how confusing this woman makes things, so this is going to be a nightmare. I'm going to end up being up all night working on this assignment. So I read this assignment and I'm going, there's no fucking way this is what we're being asked to do. We've taken one of my first semesters in this particular program was a statistics class that we had to use this fancy statistics program called SPSS and do all this data manipulation stuff. And I've never used that particular program before, so it was a little bit of a learning curve for me to understand how to use it. But I'm a previous engineer, so I deal with numbers relatively well. So we do this whole thing, and she's telling us I need you to when your doctoral program, you need to understand how to put together data and manipulate data and blah 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 with data. And the assignment was literally, after we've done this whole big project proposal on something that didn't really make any sense, and we had to figure all this stuff out. Second to last semester, this assignment is, give me some example data. And I know you won't have real data, but just give me some example data that you would collect. For example, it would be adequate to list 10 students and give me the average test scores on 3 exams.
Were you supposed to get this data?
You make it up. Literally said, because she tries to label this thing as if we were doing our project, and that's one of the things that caused it so much confusion at the beginning, is because she expected us to go do all these interviews with patients and staff members and senior leadership about all the stuff that you're not allowed to do in the medical world. You need to have what's called an IRB before you can even do anything with a patient. And this is not a clinical semester, so people don't necessarily have to have a clinical place. You don't have to have a job to be in this program. So it was completely unfair and against the policy to have her make us do an actual project she was trying to model it after. But she's trying to give you, the whole point of it is to help you out for your thesis project that you're going to be doing in 2 semesters or whatever. It's to build a mini one of those kind of what it is. So it was literally to make up data and put it in an Excel spreadsheet and turn it in.
So just put a bunch of numbers into a spreadsheet.
Yes, and literally the example she gave stating this would be sufficient. It literally, I had 4 columns on it, and one said student, the other one said test A, test B, and test C. And it said student, and it was student number 1 through 10, and then it was random grades for the 3 tests.
So what are you trying to show with this?
That you can have data.
That you can have. I'm familiar with data.
There's an assignment that I turned in today, like the one that's due tomorrow that I just started working on today, was literally to take that data or other data you want to make up, literally saying you can take it from all these different places, and make a chart.
Okay, so you basically use like some functions inside of Excel to make it in a pretty format.
Into a pie chart.
Is this class teaching Excel?
You don't have to use Excel. Actually, you have to make this thing in a PowerPoint, and you have to have 3-slide PowerPoint, and it literally said you're going to take whatever data program you use to make this data with, like you can use Excel, you can use SPSS, and slide 1 I want to be your name and what data that what program that you use, and then you're going to just whatever program it is. Slide 2 is going to be copying, pasting whatever chart you make. And she said a sample chart and a sample graphic. Though she never explained what sample graphic meant, so I kind of made that one up on the fly. But I literally I spent 5 minutes and made a pie chart.
So it doesn't even have to be, I just realized it doesn't even have to be like a pie chart that
doctoral program.
Like you could just draw a pie chart. It doesn't even have to be like based on. It doesn't have to like.
Well, I think she needed you to do it in one of these programs to basically, because you're gonna need to do that in the future. I think if I just drew it like by hand and did like, here's a circle.
Yeah, it's a
slice of pie.
I mean, you could do it like Photoshop so it looks right, but like I guess I'm saying like it doesn't have to actually use the data and then draw it itself. She would never know.
No, she would never know.
Because you're putting it inside of a PowerPoint after you create it.
Yeah, literally, it was like a copy and paste of a screenshot of it into a PowerPoint.
This is ridiculous. I feel like I want to go back to school. Every time you tell me about the shit you do in school, I feel like, man, I should be getting degrees too.
I haven't had an assignment this easy since probably my junior year in high school. I mean, like, it doesn't even make any sense. And it makes me just go, what the fuck is happening right now? Because 2 semesters ago, I did so much work and so much research for so many different assignments for one class. And that was the woman who wanted to take credit for, our manuscript and all that stuff. Yet then you get into this semester where I started out a couple videos ago being so pissed off and confused because nothing made sense on what this woman was actually asking us to do and how her explanations were 10 times more confusing. These assignments turned into pretty much like blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because I don't want to sound like I'm complaining because I like easy assignments, but I'm at the same time paying for an education. And I don't know what education I'm paying for at this point anymore.
Yeah, it sounds really bad.
It makes no sense to me. I don't know if it's because they needed to fill these extra classes with something in order to make them like count for accreditation or something, and on paper the syllabus looks right or the description. I don't really have any idea.
Do you think she's a bad teacher?
I don't know if it's necessary, because a lot of teachers, and being an online professor as well, I didn't make the class that I'm teaching. It was like basically a class that was already there in place, and it's the approved curricula from the school, and I'm just in charge of being the quote-unquote instructor for it. I don't know if that's the case with this one. It might be, it might not be. Is it this professors putting together this thing? Maybe she felt bad because it was her previous assignments were so confusing, people were so frustrated and didn't understand what was happening, that she decided to be like, okay, I got the hard stuff out of the way at the beginning, that I made you guys guess and second guess everything, and I'll just give you some easy stuff to finish the semester out. I don't know, but it really throws me off. And it also is a problem because this is one of those professors who I had to turn in my other assignment today that's due tomorrow morning, but we haven't gotten our grades back on the last one yet to even technically know if I did it right. And it's building upon that data that I turned in already.
Was that also made up data?
Yeah, the made up data. That was supposed to be made up. But granted, every other assignment that is graded, I've gotten 100% of. So
yeah, you have the best fake data.
Yeah, the best fake data. Actually, everything I put together, she's basically told me that I've put too much work into some of this stuff. It's pretty much what she said about some of the previous assignments. But at the same time, I keep getting we have to turn in a standard old like 5-page research paper in my other class last or 2 weeks ago, and we just got our grades back on that, which didn't get 100, I got a 99%, but I think I'm okay with that. And she gave class feedback to the entire class as a general, like, these are some of the issues that I saw. And what really frustrates me is one of the things that she said is, keep in mind, class, you always have to cite your sources and have references for information that you put in these papers.
Wait, for that made up information?
Well, this is a different class. Like, well, it was actually
okay.
a research paper on like a specific health population issue, and it was talk about, you know, specific things you had to research on. You couldn't just, well, you could have just made this stuff up. You'd have just sounded like a fool if anybody knows anything about the topic that you're talking about. But I'm thinking, well, this is a doctoral program. If you have to tell people that they have to cite their sources and have references at this point,
Right.
something is wrong with these people. Like, this just doesn't even make sense. Like, what kind of stuff
get
were you
through
getting
college
turned
without
in?
citing? Yeah.
Apparently, these people did, because they're in a doctoral program, and enough to make her state that you have to re-emphasize the point that you need to have references.
This fog that we have here is just the worst. Not to.
You should go back to school again to have these fun stories.
I mean, I've considered it. I don't think I want to though. And
I mean,
think
it depends on
main,
what you want to do. If it doesn't really benefit you at all, it's...
I mean, there's things I enjoyed learning, and so I do think I would. I mean, I guess since my daughter's about to start school, I feel like I'm about to start school again anyways.
You should go take some basic algebra classes, brush up on the stuff you'll need to help out. I would need to go take like a geography class or a social studies.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to keep up with the stuff that they teach in social studies.
Well, I mean, the way that things are taught now has changed too. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not going to be the same as it was whenever we went to school, for sure.
Dude, was that because of Trump?
No.
Okay, just wondering, you know.
No, this one's not his fault. Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I've thought about just going and taking some classes at a community college or something like that, just for something to do before, but never have actually done it. But one of the things that I think that prevents me from wanting to do that is the fact that you have to take certain classes that you don't want to take as well.
Well, I guess it all depends on what you're going for. If you're just going for learning, a lot of times you can get an agreement with the school that you're in a non-degree seeking.
Right. I don't, you know, I figured that is possible, but I figure if you're gonna go, you might as well get the degree too, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on what you're going for. My dad started taking classes a couple of years back, and unfortunately they canceled the program because he wasn't going for a degree, but it was one of the colleges that does a mix of the standard training but also like colloquial skills. I don't know if they call them colloquial skills. What are they called? The more skill center type stuff, the hands-on. He was taking like small engine repair classes just because he wanted to learn how to do like small engine repair.
Yeah, I've thought about doing like woodworking before. It seems like something that would be a good skill set to have. Do you have the bell picker upper?
I do. I'm picking up
okay.
bells.
I'll stop looking for it then.
Or you can look over here. If finding it was your goal, you'd be like, "Look, found it. Okay, next project." Yeah, I actually just found out that there's a building a couple blocks away from me. Like literally, if I walked 2 blocks behind me, it's like a church that at night teaches electrical and HVAC and plumbing. You can sign up for these adult ed classes for it. And I was like, I'd go sit and take their electrical curriculum, like learn how to do like hardcore, like real house electrical work and not just the, you know, I know electrical, but I don't know electrical, like housing electrical.
Right.
I do something like that when I have free time because I have plenty of it.
Yeah, just swelling with free time, really.
Yep, all of it.
Man,
But yeah,
right
you
now,
can definitely do something like that, like those adult ed classes, if anyone you want to learn. But like that's where woodworking would fit in, I would think.
right. Honestly, I've wanted to go and learn. I would actually like to get a class on like After Effects and like the things that we actually use in like Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, like all the stuff that we actually use. I would love to have someone show me all the stuff that because you know all that stuff has just been self-taught. Like no one ever showed me how to use any of these video editing programs. It's just figured it out on my own. I'm sure that you're the same.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to take a class and actually have someone teach.
Who knows?
Right.
I guess the question is, you can probably find a lot of those classes from people online that you can buy like the online programs, but it's more of a, for one, do you trust them? And for two, are you going to be able to find somebody local if you want to do like an in-person class on that stuff? Is the demand on that enough that you could have like schools offering one of their computer training rooms to let you come in and take like a real class like that with a bunch of different people?
I'm not convinced that I could do online courses for any subject matter. And the reason why I say that is in the past when I've been left in charge, like I don't think I would have done well in college. Because anytime in the past I've been left in charge. The only thing I guess I've learned on my own is programming languages, but I had the basics of programming already taught to me. But then after that, like I picked up books on other languages and learned from like the nuances of that particular language. But like whenever like I guess it was the first time I took C++, they didn't have enough people sign up for it, so we were basically just given a book and told to figure it out. And
that's a good class.
Yeah. We were given a classroom inside the other computer, like the computer class, but there was another class going on, and the teacher wouldn't actually teach us anything. And so I did horrible with that, and so I don't know. I don't know if I can't, if I don't have a teacher, how well I would do with something. Oh man, this sunflowers at Maplefield Mill. I don't know how to sell anything to this train. I have no idea how this works.
So inside the train track, or inside the building next to the train track, there is a place to go drop it off. Are you up there?
No, I'm going there now. I'm just looking. I've never been there before. I just got in a wreck.
Did you lose the sunflower?
No. The car ran right into me.
Yep, I'm sure it was the car's fault.
Yeah. I had right away.
Do you have a dash cam?
My entire life is filled with this map, actually. Whenever I can't see anything, it's got a map on my screen.
It's like the equivalent of the person who opens the map while driving and puts it in front of the windshield to look at where they're going.
Yeah. I bought one of those. I'm one of the people that still buys actual maps, and I've unfolded it, and that's all I can see right now.
I used to keep, actually, and I'm even talking about 2 years ago, a map and a phone book in the back of my car for the just in case I ever got like stranded somewhere that I didn't have access to a phone or my like cell phone or equipment like that. I do not anymore, but
you reminded me when you said that. So today I went to Walmart. My daughter's swim lessons got canceled because there was thunder in the distance, which I think that's weird that you cancel swimming at an indoor pool when there's thunder in the distance, but okay.
This is an indoor pool?
Yeah. And they do that at the beach resort we go to. They have like 3 indoor pools, and they close them down when there's thunder and lightning.
Why? What's the
rationale? I don't know.
Am I not supposed to take a bath or a shower?
You're not, actually!
What? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I see, maybe I need more school. I didn't learn these basic fundamentals.
I mean, I still always do, and I think there was a Mythbusters on this. Technically, you shouldn't be at risk of things running in on you, but it is possible if things aren't set up right, basically. All right, so I'm at the mill now.
Okay, so inside the building next to the trains is a drop-off point.
Inside of the building?
Yes. It's like there's a way to drive into it. It's just like, it's kind of like the barn. It's got an entrance like that on the side of it.
Is it like around the back here?
It's kind of like right next to the. Hold on, I'll jump over there after I make this drop off.
I guess I'll get out of the tractor.
Well, you just jump into the trains. They're right there.
Oh, well, I got out of the tractor anyways. You
Tab
can just take
over
it from here, really.
No. I'm gonna teach. We're talking about school. I'm gonna teach you.
So anyways, so I was at Walmart today, and
Where are you?
I'm at Maplefield Mills.
Oh no, you gotta start at the train yard.
I don't even know where that is.
It's between us and the we cross over it. You go right next to it to go over to the sheep. It's right before you cross the train tracks. That's the train yard by the sheeps.
I'm in a real bad spot now. I cannot back this thing up.
Back in it? Yeah, you're way over there at Maplefield Mills.
So when I got out of the car, I noticed like these teenagers hanging around this one car, and they went in about the same time that we did. Only actually, it's terrible. They were probably like, I guess they probably weren't teenagers. They were probably like young adult, like maybe like 20 or so. I only noticed because this one girl kept like pulling her shirt up and down. I was like, what is she doing other than showing the entire world her bra? So anyways, go inside, buy stuff, and I noticed whenever I was leaving too, they were walking like past the cash registers back towards the exit, and so get outside and put the stuff that we bought in the car, and one of them comes walking over to me, and she's like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Hi," and she's like, "Can I use your phone? A woman inside brought my kid inside, and now she's inside with him."
What?
That was the exact words she said. Like I stared at her for a second, like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like it didn't make any sense to me at all. And I just said, I don't have a phone. And this is my whole story, but
what about the woman inside with her kid inside and her kid and woman inside?
I know it was so weird. I regretted it afterwards, but yeah, it was just me and my daughter. And I mean, she was a bigger girl. I don't know how old she was. She wasn't my age, that's for sure. And I don't think she could have taken my phone and like ran away with it or anything. So I don't really...
Yeah, but what was she even trying to say?
I know that's the reason why I'm telling this, because it's not a good story. It was just so confusing. But like whenever I saw them inside, like I've been thinking about it a lot since then, because my daughter asked me too, like, why didn't you let her use your phone? I'm like, well, you can't always trust people that ask you to use your phone, and I don't know her, and if she really needs a phone, then she can go inside and use a phone. And she was like, yeah, when I'm older, people ask to use my phone, I'm going to say no too. I was like, all right, you do that. But yeah, like when I saw them wandering around past the cash registers, they were just moseying. Like they didn't have any, even when she walked over to me after I put my stuff in the car, she didn't have any like air of urgency or anything. And so I'm just really confused about what was going on.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I probably would not let them use my phone either, because it just sounds like a very weird situation where, yes, it was an emergency, as well as it almost sounds like a situation where that person had nothing better to do and needed to make a phone call to a friend, probably like nothing important related.
Right. Like I decided maybe they would need to buy some drugs or something. Like I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, that would be a potential possibility, but it's just like, why? If the woman's inside with your kid inside, then go inside.
Right, and yeah, like if something, yeah. I was like, if there's a law being broken, or if your kid's being kidnapped, you sure are really nonchalant. And again, I'm not certain she was old enough to even have a kid. I mean, I guess, you know, they get them young, but I don't know. It was weird, but yeah, that's my story. Okay, so now I'm over here.
Okay, let me tab over there now.
I guess I'm over here. I can see a train track.
Can you see the trains? Are you at Byfield 11? Like...
Yeah. Byfield 11. You should be able to see me on the mini-map.
Yeah, I see on the menu now. So come in here. Wait, where are you at? Where are... Oh, you're across the side. You just come back across the bridge.
Is this a bridge?
I mean, it's a something. And you come into this room right here. And you just dump it in. And this is now the train silo.
By the time I do all this, it's not going to be selling for the most over here.
Well, we're only at 1 speed, so it should be it should be fine. The only problem is you have to get into the train that's going the right direction.
How do you know?
I mean, you have to look that there's 2 different train tracks right here if you look at the map. And one of them goes around toward Maplefield Mills and Stanton Sawmill, and the other one goes around the other way on the map. You want the one closest to the building 11, because that's the one that goes toward Maplefield Mills.
God, I guess I'm looking at... I guess I have to open the map to see. So this one right here?
Yes. And then what you want to do is, I don't know what spot it's in, a spot somewhere right around here. You have to go forward and backwards until you get the fill icon.
Yeah, it's filling up right now.
Yeah, then you just fill it up, and then, yeah, there you go. And then you just roll. You just got to watch out because it's heavy, so it's hard stuff.
Yeah, my daughter drove us around for a while the other day, actually. My daughter's played quite a bit of this game.
Yeah, so she
on our server.
She figured out the password.
Uh-huh. Like, basically, if I try to play this during the day, I have to not let her see me. Because then she comes in and she's like,
uh-oh,
I want to play.
I was wrong. That's the wrong track. I was looking at the field 11 is the building. Field 11 is the field. So you have to kind of come back, and there'll be a spot to empty. I don't remember where the empty spot is, but you have to basically, just like there's a fill spot, you can empty it, and you have to do it in the other train.
I hate this game.
That's because I looked at it wrong. Is your train not slowing down at all? Oh, you're just cruising it all the way around?
Yeah, it's a loop. I'm looping it.
Yeah, I usually just, even going to Maplefield Mill, I just go in reverse. Here, I will. Oh, I can't really fill it up for you because you have all the product. I'm going to try to get to high ground and see you coming from the distance.
Do you hear it?
No. Ooh, I'm in the claw. I'm in the claw. You should be coming from this way, I think. You're like nowhere close yet. You're looping around our area.
Yeah.
The trains are kind of pointless because I think this Maplefield Mill is the only one that can do anything on this map, isn't it?
So this one doesn't. This train has no point.
I don't think I see any drop-off point on that train. Maybe there's some random ones on the side of the road. As you do logging and stuff. You're probably gonna want to start slowing down. I not see you rolling yet? Am I looking the wrong way? Oh yeah, I was looking the wrong way. See, I'm above you.
Can you hear the horn?
Yes, I can now. So you have to find a spot. Oh, that was just the fill spot, I think. Now it's you're a little past the fill spot. Only because I saw something open up on the top. You're going farther past the fill spot.
Oh. Yeah, I had the start filling option, but I didn't see a unload option.
There should be an unload option.
Yeah,
because the same plate is the unload.
Start filling. Yeah, I've only had a fill.
There's no unload.
There's unload. Stop. Okay.
Then you go with the other train. Yeah, I mean, this part of the game looks really cool. It's just, I think it's underutilized. Gotta go 2 more cars past, I think.
Oh, this feels like a film.
Is it Phil in there? I guess it's the other ones are the ones that have open tops, but yeah, then you can take this over to Maplefield's Mills, drop it all off, and that is how it's done.
It's just kind of convoluted.
But if it sells for more money, how much more does it actually sell for right now? Is it corn?
No, it's sunflowers.
Sunflowers. Oh, decent chunk more, so it's worth it.
Yeah. It's just like, it does look cool though. I guess it does add some more depth to the game. As some of them just complaining the game doesn't have depth.
You'd also never done that before.
Yeah.
First time for it all.
Wait, what was that?
Sheep-bone
I just had an option to fill. Was that where I was? That there?
Do I know?
No, never mind. I had an option to fill back there. But I wasn't at the mill.
Oh, is there another silo we could randomly use somewhere?
I think so. Rather just at farm 17.
It's farm 17. Wonder what you. I'm gonna go visit that farm. I'm curious now what that is. Where is the track?
Oh, man, we're up to 140 grand.
Yeah, sunflowers, so good. Oh yeah, there's a random silo over here.
Did you saw all the bells?
Yeah,
That's where
all the bells are
came
gone.
from. So I bought 3 sheep, and it lowered it by 3 hours on the sheep breeding.
So now we just need to play for 20 more hours to take another sheep. So
I'm curious if
this
it's
is
an
not-
hour every one we buy at this point.
I don't know what we would have in this particular thing that you said you could fill at.
Yeah.
I don't know what we'd put in it to sell.
Is there
I don't
is there no way to put stuff in it?
I don't see a way to put stuff in it. I'm on top of it. Oh, I just fell off of it. I have absolutely no idea what the hell this thing is. I wonder what you can fill it with.
I kind of want to take the train up to DC sometime.
I don't know how the train works from North Carolina. I've taken the train from DC to New York before. And it was actually really nice. It was like 4 hours, and I was in these relatively comfortable seats with Wi-Fi. Just kind of sit back, relax, and
Yeah, I looked into it. Like even the first class seats aren't that expensive if you get them like if you look ahead. Like basically if I plan the trip around the tickets, not like the tickets around when I wanted to be there.
right.
Like, they're not that expensive. Like there was some that was like $60 round trip. I was like, man, that's so cheap. Like if you just wanted to go, it's like 300. Like if I wanted to go like tomorrow, that's 300.
Yeah, that was definitely expensive because amazingly the train wasn't as cheap as I thought when looking for specific days.
Yeah. When I first looked, that was before I went there for New Year's. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll take the train. I bet it's like really cheap. And I was like, oh wow, that's not as cheap as I thought it was going to be.
Like that's not cheap at all.
I remember when I was younger, one time we had to take a Greyhound. Have I ever told you the story about taking a Greyhound from Texas all the way to South Carolina?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, that was an experience. I'll have to man. I'll have to tell you that in another episode. We're out of time for this particular episode.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.